Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for The White Lotus Season 3, Episode 3. Man, this one is the one I had been waiting for personally because it gives us two things that I was really looking forward to. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Great episode, great performances, very much focused on Walton Goggins, and Walton Goggins is one of my favorite cast members. So I really enjoy that. I'm really digging the slow burn vibes of the show. I don't know if the other seasons are like this or not. I can't wait to go back and watch them. But for now, I just want to enjoy one episode at a time every week. Have a conversation. There's a group of people that also watch the show, and we're on this Discord, and we just kind of converse and talk and discuss. So it makes it really cool. Like I love me a Sunday night HBO Max watch. Now this weekend was a little bit later, and this video is a little bit later because of the Oscars. So I was actually doing that on Sunday. I didn't get to watch the episode till a little bit later, but here we are. Let's get into it. Two big things happened in this episode, which I was very excited for. First of all, Rick. We finally get to spend pretty much the whole day with Rick, as he kind of goes on, having breakfast, meeting, once again hanging out with Greg and his partner. And I just really, really like that we are exploring what is going on behind Rick, right? Rick and Chelsea are such a weird couple, but I really, really love them together. Like, I think they feel like they make sense, even if they may not make sense to us as the audience at the moment. But we get to see Rick in one of his most vulnerable moments. Right, he leaves to into town. He goes to get some weed, um, and he ends up maybe picking up something a little too strong. Because when they go to the snake show, that's where the real episode gets kicked in. Like it gets real crazy. They go watch a snake show. All these venomous snakes. Obviously, people in Thailand and in this little town, they know how to handle them. They know what to do. They even mentioned that the hospital is like 15 minutes away. But in his, as he's watching the show, we see him go into it, and Rick is he's a little perturbed by the way that the snakes are just kind of being held captive, and this kind of all flashes back and mirrors the conversation that he's been having with the doctor at the resort, right? He's got something within himself right now that feels caged. There's something that he's hiding, and I think that's kind of what we're going to explore the rest of the season. But in this case, that manifested as Rick letting some of those snakes out. Now we know that those are poisonous snakes. Actually, one of them, I think it's a cobra that bites Chelsea, so they have to rush her to the hospital. Uh, and Rick is just like, but this is the moment where I knew that Rick actually cares about Chelsea, because he was also worried, right? So that was really really cool. I really enjoyed that part of the episode. The other part of the episode that I was very much waiting for was every episode we've had a conversation between Kate, Lori, and Jacqueline, right? And then one of them breaks off, goes to sleep early, whatever the case may be, and they kind of talk about the other one behind her back. So in the first episode, we saw they were talking a little bit about Carrie Coon's character of Kate, or of Lori, and then she does that like primal scream in a room, and then we saw Kate and Lori talk about Jacqueline and maybe talk about how like her marriage isn't as solid as she wants it to portray. There's definitely something going on there. I love how petty they are with each other, even though they're putting on this facade of like being the best of friends, even though they're not, or like they're not anymore. And then because they've become very different people, right? Two of them live on one of New York and LA, and then of course Kate lives in Austin, which is kind of the center point of this one. During lunch earlier, Kate pretty much came out as being pretty conservative and everything that goes along with that, whereas all three of them grew up pretty liberal. Now Kate calls herself an independent, but her husband is a Republican, so like there's a lot of that comes as a shock to her friends because they all, like I said, they all grew up very liberal, and two of them still live on the coast, which makes them a little bit more liberal when compared to somebody that lives in Austin, like Kate does. At least by geographically, if you want to kind of typecast people geographically. But in this case, that evening, they end up talking about Kate. So Laurie and Jacqueline end up talking about Kate and like how can those be your values and all this stuff. Like it just really comes up, and I knew it was coming because they've been doing each one. I feel like by the end of or in the next few episodes, those things are gonna kind of explode and their friendship is gonna kind of implode. And I can't wait to see that. I love, like I said, I love Carrie Coon. I think she's another one of my favorite people in the cast just coming into the show. Um, we don't spend a lot of time with the family, but we do see that Tim finally puts his phone away because he knows he's screwed. And then we get to see a little bit more of that. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of things being set up, but this was a really fun episode. But those were the two highlights for me. That's what I had been waiting for. I want to spend time with Rick, but I also want Rick to show me that him and Chelsea like make sense, as opposed to like Gary, Greg, whatever, who's actually confronted by um, the other person. But because I haven't seen the other seasons, that doesn't really mean a lot to me yet. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But either way, very exciting stuff. Um, I'm also a little anticipating a little bit what they're gonna do with the Piper story and her trying to talk to the monk, because that kind of keeps getting delayed, and I feel like she may not even get to. So we'll see. But let me know, what did you think of the White Lotus episode 3 from season 3? And if you have seen this episode, let me know down in the comments. Let me know what else you're watching on Max. Any other series that you enjoy. I'm really enjoying The Pit right now. I think that's one of the most amazingly put together shows, and Max is really killing it with that. Surprised that it's on a Thursday night, but I guess that's kind of the other night for prestige television nowadays. I don't know. We'll see. It's all changing with these streamers. So, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here on the channel. And please come back to the White Lotus. Bye bye.